Everybody, welcome to the December meeting of the Franklin County Community School Corporation Board of Trustees. If we could, I would like for everyone to stand, recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and then observe a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, our first item up is celebrations. Mr. Gehring.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. We actually have quite a bit to celebrate tonight. As you can see, we have quite the crowd. And just so kind of everyone knows how we will function through this, we have 4 different celebrations along the way. And once we're done with all of them, we will collect small groups by the Wildcat to take pictures. That'll put a pause in our meeting. Once we're finished with the picture portion, which is again after the celebration, all of you are welcome to stay or go, up to you, but that's probably your good chance to get out of here if you wanted to at that point, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the business meeting. So you won't be here all night, not to worry at all, but we'll get through our celebrations here in the first probably 15 or so minutes, maybe 20 minutes, then we'll go from there. I want to thank everyone for being here. There are a few seats left around if anyone would like to grab those. First and foremost, we want to acknowledge 2 of our Board of Education members that this will be their last meeting for now as members of our board, as they both are stepping away to pursue other things, of course, and enjoy their time otherwise. And we're very thankful for their time, and we just want to take a moment to say thank you. And I'm going to read a short bio here, and then we'll acknowledge them as well with a gift. First and foremost, we're going to speak of Mr. Rick Gill. Franklin County Community School Corporation would like to thank Mr. Rick Gill for his service on the school board. Rick has served on the Franklin County School Board for 12 years. During his time, he has filled many roles, including president for 1 year, vice president for 4 years, and secretary for 2. Prior to his dedication to the Board of Education, Mr. Gill donated a lot of his time and knowledge to the school corporation and community. Rick explained, "When I was an Indiana State Trooper, before I joined the BOE, for approximately 15 years, I put together programs about drinking and driving, especially for prom night. I'd bring rec cards and display them in front of the high school and for students to see also. Also, in my 15 years, I brought in speakers to talk about drugs and alcohol before the school had traffic control personnel. When I was on day shift, I was always at Wildcat Lane and State Route 1 in the morning to direct traffic. I also provided security at basketball games and football games. In 1996, when the football team went to sectionals, regionals, semi-state, and state, I escorted the bus to and from the games. When asked about advice for the remaining board members, he had the following. My advice to the newly elected members is when you have to make a decision, make it based on facts and numbers rather than just your heart. Always make decisions that will benefit the students, teachers, custodians, administrative personnel, and the corporation as a whole. You have to remember you are a board member of a multi-million-dollar corporation. As for the remaining board members, bring all students together so they can receive the same education, and do not let the state come in and ruin our awesome schools. It has been an absolute pleasure and honor to have worked with you and alongside a lot of other fine board members and represent my district. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for Mr. Rick Gill. Our second board member to acknowledge tonight is often not a man of few words, but tonight he is. Had to pull teeth just to get any of the information because I know he doesn't enjoy this acknowledgement, but we need to take a moment to say thank you. We want to say thank you to Mr. Francis Brumback for being our board president for the past 3 years and on the board for the past 16 years. Mr. Brumback has had his son come through our corporation, LES, spent some time at BES, at Franklin County Middle School, and Franklin County High School. And again, typically a man of many words, but for this it was very brief, but he did want to give advice to everyone who remained on the board, and that is always remember that you are here for the kids. So how about a big giant round of applause for Mr. Francis Trumbull? As always the case, he likes to correct me. I just want to take a moment and speak to you directly, to our two members that are leaving, on behalf of myself. Coming in here 4 months ago, it was a leap. It was a giant leap for me. New state, new corporation, new position, a lot of new faces. And both of you have been incredibly welcoming to me and a good friend along the way. Earliest ideas, Rick, was for us to be at the fair, and it was a great jumping point for me to be able to be out there. What a great idea to get us out there and shaking hands and meeting a lot of people. That was your idea, and it really came together and really kicked off a great season for me and Francis. Just, you know, our daily talks, and I truly mean daily, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, they're always great, right? They're always very affirming, very positive, very, very encouraging, and always end with the same thing: is if I can do anything for you, I will. And I think you truly mean that. And I just want to say thank you to you, and thank you to both of you, honestly, for being such encouraging folks and dedicating yourself to this corporation. It is not easy to be a board member, not at all, not in any day and age, but particularly not in this day and age with the internet the way it is and being accessible 24/7. This is not an easy job, but you took it on and you've done a great job doing so. So I just want to say thank you. And how about one more last time for our board members? All right, we're going to shift gears into our second of 4 celebrations, and that is we're going to celebrate our support staff of the month. So if I can have Miss Cooper come step next to me. There she is. Come on over here. All right, we're a little tight quarters. How about you land on my right? That way, a little bit of space. There you go. You're heading right. All right. Hi, how are you? So glad you're here. Superintendent Mr. Dustin Gehring is pleased to announce that Ms. Amber Cooper has been selected as December's Support Staff of the Month. Amber is the nurse at BES. Although Mrs. Cooper has only worked at the corporation for a year now, she has made a lasting impact on so many. Mrs. Cooper attended Galen College of Nursing to become a registered nurse. In addition to her career at BES, she is also an RN at Mercy West Emergency Room. That's a little busier, I would imagine. Yeah. And an active member of the Blooming Grove Family Worship. Amber was nominated for this honor by a staff member. When asked why Mrs. Cooper should be considered for this recognition, she responded, "She goes above and beyond in everything she does, always showing exceptional care and dedication. Nurse Amber treats both students and staff with kindness and compassion and respect, which creates a welcoming and supportive environment for everyone she interacts with. Her hard work and positive attitude make a meaningful difference every day. She truly deserves to be recognized for all that she does to keep our school and community healthy and happy." After caring for others, Amber enjoys spending her free time outdoors, hunting and fishing, playing volleyball and softball, and watching her boys race dirt bikes and play football. When asked what is the best part of her job, Ms. Cooper responded, "Getting to see smiling faces and walking through the hallway, knowing that the hugs, mints, and Band-Aids can fix most problems." That's true in life. The purpose of, as we know, for the Support Staff of the Month is so we can recognize outstanding FCCSC support staff. And of course, we do this every month, and we encourage everyone to use our nomination form to look at our December winner. But this, Ms. Cooper, is for you right there. How about a big round of applause for Ms. Cooper? In front. You can go right in front.
You can come around front.
Yeah, it's a little easier that way. There you go.
I can't trip her now.
Thank you so much.
And come right back over here and see me just for one more time. So for you, we have your nomination. We also have for your wall, of course. And then who do you have with you today? Introduce us.
I have my 4 boys, Tucker, Carter, Hunter, and Sawyer. My mom and dad, Wilbur and Lori, and then my mother and father-in-law, Phil and Dee.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for letting us borrow her every single day. Well, how awesome. Thank you. This is for you. One more round of applause for Ms. Cooper. All right, I'd like to welcome up Mrs. Lindsay Adams, who is our Educator of the Month. Come on up here on my right side. Give this to you early. For you. Superintendent Mr. Dustin Gehring is honored to announce that Mrs. Lindsay Adams has been selected as December's Educator of the Month. Mrs. Adams is a special education teacher at Franklin County High School. Lindsay earned her bachelor's degree in Spanish from Ball State University and later obtained her teaching certificate from IU East. She furthered her education at Taylor University, where she studied special education. Lindsay has been in education for 12 years total, 8 teaching Spanish and 4 teaching in special education. We are thankful to have Ms. Adams at FCC for 3 years now. Thank you very much. Lindsay was nominated for this honor by a student, which actually warms my heart incredibly. When I read this, it was just so moving. When asked why Ms. Adams should be considered for this recognition, the student responded the following: "There is so much that is great about this staff member, so I'm going to try and fit it all in. Ms. Lindsay Adams is great because she is always working hard to make sure that the kids are getting the right education. For example, she was in my geometry class yesterday and made sure that my notes were neat, and we went down to her room to finish a 10-question assignment. She always has been very calm and understanding with me. She works hard with her students. I've seen it done. She gives so much, so I think she deserves something in return." Lindsay's free time looks different all the time. One day it could consist of a family movie night, eating way too much pizza and ice cream, same, with her husband and kids. Another day it could be a basketball game with her parents at Earlham College, supporting her brother and coach from the stands. When she has a lot of downtime, Lindsay enjoys vacationing with her friends at Mackinac Island, and then also in Michigan. Above all, Mrs. Adams values spending time with the ones who matter most to her. When asked what she loves most about her job, Ms. Adams responded, "The typical response to the question is when you see the light bulbs turn on. But for me, it's so much more than that. It's when I get to push and encourage my students through the hardest part of the learning journey. And when they finally reach success," oh, I'm getting all choked up here, I gotta stop it. "They've been striving for. I catch it. I catch the expression that says, 'I did it.' Now that is what makes it all worth it." I think that's pretty special. As we know, the purpose of Educator Month is to highlight those who are doing an outstanding job in our education field, so make sure you're nominating your favorites along the way. With that being said, one round of applause for Ms. Adams.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Come right back over to me. And for you, my friend, this is your nomination form, okay, and all the information. And this is for you. And who do you have with you?
I have my husband Jacob and my son and daughter Noah and Hallie.
Well, thank you for letting us borrow her every single day. We appreciate it. I know you're very proud and have a lot to be proud of. One more time for Ms. Adams. Our last celebration before we take a bit of a pause and we'll do some picture moments is something new. I believe it'd be new to the corporation, but certainly something new that I'm bringing with me, and that is an opportunity to recognize our competitive music groups or large music groups and our athletic teams from the fall for anyone that did something above and beyond. And I let the athletic directors decide for themselves what does that mean. So they had the genre was wide open as to who they wanted to bring here, and so we have a number of friends that are here, and we want to make sure that it is our first time doing this, so we're going to do our best to make sure we get it just right. But if any hiccups along the way, just make sure you tell me so we can make it right. We want to make sure that we make it right. We want to start things off with Franklin County Middle School. Eric, if you want to make your way on up, I know that you have a number of folks that you also want to bring up, and then you have your certificates as well. All right.
As Mr. Gehring pointed out, this is something new that he brought to us during a athletic council meeting in the morning to basically recognize fall sports, and then we're going to do it as well for the winter and then for the spring. So I don't really have, being the middle school AD, we don't have like all conference teams and things like that. So I reached out to the coaches and asked them to nominate a few players for me. And they did so. Unfortunately, some of them there's a basketball game tonight, so some of them aren't here And I think they kind of went along the lines, I gave them a little guidance, maybe good teammate, leadership role, that sort of thing, what it means above just the scoring and all those numbers, every day at practice that people don't see. And so they came up with six athletes from the fall to recognize here tonight. The first one is seventh grader for football, Logan Lambert. And this is from Coach Dorrell. He's playing basketball at Greendale tonight. Yeah, so, but Denny, who's also coaching at Greendale, Denny passed along. He said he's a tough kid and a great teammate, changes positions, blocks his tail off. Everyone in proper position will do whatever it takes to make the team succeed. And I think that's what you want, or I know that's what you want. In my experience, when building a program, you want athletes like that. And then an eighth grader for the football team, Cameron Arnold, who's here. Coach Dorrell expressed that he's extremely smart and athletic, a great teammate and leader, and has a big future in the sport of football. So, we will find you. And now for volleyball, we have seventh grader Carmen Foster. Carmen here? Yes, and this was for hustle and dedication to the team. And I also want to thank you for helping put the volleyball stanchions up. That helped too. We also have eighth grader Carly Burns for hustle and dedication to the team. However, Sean, his son, is also playing basketball, so I'm assuming the Burns family are at Greendale. We have another seventh grader, Gabby Baldrick, for volleyball, and that was for most improved. And lastly, eighth grader Evelyn Grimison, also for most improved. So these are our fall athletes to recognize.
How about have one big round of applause for these guys?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job.
All right, we're going to turn things over to Mr. Riley and then Miss South for our high school recognition. Go ahead, Mr. Riley.
Following up with Mr. Ebron's fall athletes, we had quite a few great accomplishments this fall. Can't hear me? Okay, I'll be louder. Sorry about that. I'm going to lead off with golf, girls golf. It's Annie Hoff. She was an all-conference player and advanced to the regional, so she was a regional qualifier this year. Shot a low 90s to get her there. Shot really well at the regional too. Congratulations. Next up, we're going to go with football. We had 9 all-conference football players this year. Finished second in the conference in the tie. We had the conference MVP, offensive MVP. That was Quinn Gilman. He was also team MVP, all-conference. Next one is Braylon Crudup. He was also all-conference in football. Received for over 1,000 yards this year. Receiver of the year. He's also my intern. Does a great job for me. Was on the scoreboard the other night at the wrestling match, if you were there. Good young man. All these kids are awesome. I just want to say that. I couldn't ask for a better group to be up here to recognize Franklin County High School. Next, we're going to go to girls soccer. Madison Sunderhouse. She was all-conference. Team MVP. She owns a lot of scoring records for soccer. She's on the hardwood now, playing basketball for us. So she's going to be a 2-sport athlete for me. One that's not here tonight, Annabelle Wiseman. She was freshman of the year, all conference. Annabelle and Maddie were close up at the top for MVP of the conference. It's pretty good when you're going against Lawrenceburg, who won the state championship. So they should really be proud of themselves and how they played this year. Played them in a close game, 4-0. Lost in a shootout in the sectional. Kind of heartbreaking, but it was a good season for them. boys soccer, I've got Dalton Ward. Dalton was all conference, team MVP. Broke a lot of records for us in saves. Great young man. You've probably seen his dad on the sidelines a lot. He shoots all our videos for us. Going to try to get Dalton in the Wildcat costume. We got a new mascot debuting on Thursday, so he does now. Surprise, Dalton. Volleyball. I've got Tiffany Billman. She was all conference, Wildcat award recipient. Hard work leader on the court. Also playing basketball right now, doing a great job. Last one is boys soccer. This guy came all the way to Italy, from Italy. He heard about us. Just kidding. There was an investigation with the IHSA on Cabras. Please come up here. MVP of the conference. We haven't had MVP in the conference in over 20 years. Right there he is, standing there. 7-0, sectional champion. Fought his butt off at regional. Real close to moving on there against the kid that went on to the state finals. So did a great job for us this season. Our Italian friend, Falco. Thank you.
How about a big round of applause for all of you? Shake hands.
Good job.
Congratulations, stand up.
Don't let them kidnap you and chloroform you, whatever you do.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Good job. Proud. Congratulations. Lots of hard work, right?
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
All right, we have one more group. We will catch up with you for your certificates a little bit later. Ms. South, go ahead.
Funny story on the way here. I found out I lost my keys. Okay, so I'm looking around my office for my keys, and I pick up a folder, and it's a lockdown folder. It's not their certificate folder, so you'll get those folders get those tomorrow. I don't think you want that one. It is an honor to recognize the FCHS Marching Band and Color Guard this evening. The FCHS Marching Band has maintained its excellence in performance. The students worked hard to achieve a more complicated fall program than any of them have ever had in the past. In addition, several members of the band were recently selected to participate in honor bands. High school members in the All-Region Honor Band held in Greensburg on November 17th were Brenda Collins, Kobe Daughtery, Braden Wall, and Leah Walston. Members who were selected to be All-District Honor Band held in Newcastle on November the 24th were Clara Klusman and Sage Lacing. The FCHS Band is represented this evening tonight by our fine drum majors, Jamie Hensley, please stand, and Ava Reese, our talented guard captains, Stacy Angelo and Sydney Roberts. And the honor band members are represented by Braden Wall, who was first selected first chair alto sax for the All-Region Honor Band. A little side note, at my high school, I was drum major. My daughter became drum major. My grandmother was drum major. So when it comes to the band, the music, fine arts, and of course all the kids, they get me right here. Okay. Congratulations to FCHS Band and Color Guard representatives. You make FCHS and FCCSC proud to be a Wildcat. Thank you.
Congratulations. Good job. Good job. Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Want that picture?
Congratulations.
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 All right, pull together. The South, please join. All right, big smiles right here. Got a big group here for you. Here. All right, thank you very much. I'll have you guys actually shift back to your seats. Sorry. High school athletes, come on up. All my athletes that were recognized, make your way to the Wildcat as well. Mr. Riley. Don't wear that suit for nothing, buddy. Trying to stack up a little bit, stack up, stack up, stack
Got on
up.
his plate now. Just working. Gonna try to slow down.
All right, well, get yourself a little bit organized there.
Enjoy life a while.
All right, look up here.
Slow down.
Smile.
I'm running about 100 miles an hour. That's how we are. Yeah. Throw it all to the side.
Perfect. Our middle school athletes, come on over. Way over to the Wildcat. Is there anyone in the room that we did not recognize that came here for that? I want to make sure we didn't pick up anything. Just so we know. Good? Sure. To the Wildcat, we go for a picture. Pull together. Eric, you want to jump in for a picture? Here we go. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Very good. We'll have our support staff of the month step on up. That's an individual shot, and then we'll have family join. And we're almost done, I promise. Don't take long. Support staff of the month, come on up, and for an individual shot, and then family will be next. Okay. All right. Shannon, will you also take a picture? All right, I'll miss Lou here. All right, members of family that joined as well, come on up. Yep, it's a group effort. Gather up, gather up. There you go. And almost everybody. Big smiles. Not quite there yet, huh? Okay, educator month. I got two to walk that as well. Little commotion, that's all right. Big smile. And let's get your family up here with you. Come on up. Yep, absolutely. Amber, you can hold tight for 1 second. We'll get a group for the two of you. Okay? All right, big smiles here. All right, we'll put the two of you together in front of the Wildcat, and that'll be our last one. Perfect. I think that is everyone. Does that capture everyone? Well, friends, thank you so much for jumping into something new and exciting and fun, and we're really thankful. If you'd like to leave, as I transition back to my seat, it's a perfect time for you to transition out of yours, but that you are always welcome to stay. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Hey, Teresa.
You're good. That's all. Yep, you're good. Yep.
Oh, yeah, no.
You're good.
very
That's all.
much.
That's all.
I had no idea where the new lights were. Nobody informed me. Yeah, that's, hey, Mercer loved that.
As
Remember?
long as the balls are bouncing.
Hey, when Linzer was here, he loved that. No practice. Thanks, I appreciate it.
It's harder to hit somebody with a rock now.
Mac.
Okay, see you later, Eric. As we move on, we will have the consent agenda items, which are the minutes, the expenditures, and the resignations. Is there a motion?
I'll make a
Discussion?
motion to approve the consent agenda.
Kevin, motion. Beth, seconds. All in favor? I think it's 7-0. We're now to personnel new hires.
Yeah, so we have a couple of folks here. At BES, we have Lisa French joining us, or pending board approval, of course. We have Ethan Pepper, which will be a paraprofessional at FCMS, and Lisa will be a teacher at BES, hopping into that 5th grade spot. And then Brittany Hunter will be moving up to the cafeteria manager at FCHS, pending board approval.
Do we have any discussion? Are there any motions? I'm sorry.
Rick,
Rick,
I'll second.
Rick and
I'll
Katie?
second.
Oh, Kevin? All in favor? 7-0. Now we're to personnel and extracurriculars.
So a little bit of catch-up work here for the board as far as some of these ECAs, just to make sure that everything's in alignment. So you may notice that some of these sports have already happened along the way. Not to worry, these are catching up their ECAs since the negotiation. So it all is copacetic, but we're going to go ahead and move forward with these. I'll read them out. There are a number of them. Here we go. At the middle school, we have Sean Lauderman, 5th grade girls basketball. Marcy Stevenson, 6th grade girls basketball. Wes Cox, 7th grade girls basketball. Denny Dorrell, 8th grade girls basketball. Denny Dorrell, head 7th and 8th grade football. Hunter Sheehan, 7th and 8th grade assistant A football. Eric Sanders, 7th and 8th assistant B football. Austin Cowan, 7th and 8th assistant C football. Stacy Nobby, cross country. Sean Burns, 8th grade volleyball. Marcy Stevenson, 7th grade volleyball. Clark Sherwood, bus transfer D sponsor. At the high school level, again, these are catching up these ECAs since the negotiations. We have Nick Van Oven, head freshman girls volleyball. Kristen Campbell, volunteer assistant volleyball. Danielle Butt, volunteer assistant volleyball. Kirsten Shell, volunteer assistant volleyball. Cassidy Shell, volunteer assistant volleyball. Kayla Campbell, volunteer assistant volleyball. Melissa Schwab, high school wrestleette sponsor. Shelby Hamilton, high school wrestleette volunteer sponsor. Dan Payne, volunteer assistant wrestling. Dylan Humbert, volunteer assistant wrestling. Anthony Huber, volunteer assistant wrestling. Marissa Mears, volunteer high school girls golf. Daniel Ward, volunteer varsity boys assistant soccer. Tyler Haverbush, volunteer varsity boys assistant soccer. Michael Wiseman, volunteer girls assistant coach. Soccer coach. Randy Bolus, volunteer assistant football. Andrea Ruff, volunteer head gymnastics. Brett Rauch, freshman boys basketball. And Michael Krishoff, varsity head girls tennis.
Is there any discussion?
I'll explain why I was talking to Mr. Evans. The one that he sent had stipend amounts on there. I was just clarifying if this was going
that's fine.
backwards or forward.
I got you.
I didn't know if he would still be here, so so everybody knows what we were discussing.
I thought it was to go pro. If there's no other discussion, do we have a motion? Beth? And was that Brandy?
Brandy.
White flag. All in favor? 7. Next up will be grants and donations.
All right. MCS is asking permission to accept a donation in the amount of $1,000 from the Harrison AmVets Post 13 to help with Christmas donations for families in need. FCMS is asking permission to accept a grant in the amount of $1,000 for Franklin County Community Foundation to use towards purchasing a classroom printer for the business lab. FCMS is asking permission to accept the following donations, totally $1,775 for the Wildcat Work Ethic Program. Salina Farm, $500. First Financial Bank, $100. Furman Excavating, $300. J. Baker Salon, $25. FCN Bank, $500. Shear Designs, $100. Bass State Bank, $50. Delta Data Carter, I apologize about that one, $200. And as always, thank you to all of these folks for their donation.
Are there any discussion? No discussion. Is there a motion? Beth and Katie, all in favor? 7-0. Next up is financial reports.
The education fund balance as of November 30th, 2024 was $6,184,513.50. A year ago, this balance was $4,395,124.90. The operations fund balance as of November 30th, 2024 was $1,503,181.81. A year ago, this balance was $1,973,863.84. The rainy day fund balance as of November 30th, 2024 was $4,303,400.92. A year ago, this balance was $1,068,712.84. The investment interest earned year to date as of November 30th was $569,498.92. This is compared to $358,749.79 a year ago. Just a couple of things to note on this. I have been discussing with the board the transfer of the back in, I believe, February, we moved the remaining balance of the reimbursed bond from 2021 to the operations fund. That has since been moved to the rainy day fund. So that's why you see the influx there. Also, the investment interest earned, FCN Bank went through a system update through the changing of the month, and our interest in all of our accounts there, which we have 4 interest-bearing accounts, did not receive interest until December 1st. Therefore, they're not recorded here, but they will be recorded along with December's interest. So you may see a little bit of an increase there. So it didn't get placed in November, got placed December 1st. It's just not recorded as of November 30th.
Is there any discussion? Kendra, I have a question for you. Is you do projections that pace out over time, correct?
I do, yes.
And how does the projection look long term here?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, of course.
We have built a sustainable 5-year projection. Now, obviously, there are multiple factors that could play into that. I'm not really sure, to be honest, how to answer that. We've built a sustainable budget for the projection for 5 years.
I guess my question's more towards TIF, where we will receive a fixed income from the amount that we have. And when we went to the commissioners meeting, we were told that the redevelopment commission would work with the school board. We received nothing on that, correct?
Not yet.
And the vote was up to 15%. So if we don't receive money from that and it's fixed, what will that have as an effect on the school?
So right now we're able to sustain how we are managing. The major downside is we wouldn't see the growth that would come from that area in the new builds, so we are frozen with the TIF. We are frozen at our current income earnings from that property that's captured. If and when the TIF is complete, when it is, they will see a substantial growth, and that we will not see the revenue if we don't get the 15%. So that's where the downside lies with the TIF, is that we don't get to see the growth that comes along with that area of the houses being built. And does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it does. And
Okay.
then the follow-up question I have for you is, this money that would have we received from taxes goes into which fund?
So property taxes go into operations, which you can see that we are down compared to last year. This year we are looking at, which it's all a domino effect. So our education fund balance is higher than last year because we did not do a transfer to operations. We would like to hold the money there, obviously, for educational purposes. However, we do anticipate doing the transfer that is allowed through the state to the operations fund to help. With the growth of the land that is being TIF'd, that would have helped our operations fund. Yes.
I'll give a moment of clarity if I can.
Sure.
So in reality, no school board in the nation says a TIF is a great thing, because we want both the growth, the taxes off any growth, as well as the students that come with the growth. You want both, but at some point you say, is it worth it, right? Like, that if you TIF this and take that money and you can build up the space over time. One of the two things I've asked for as superintendent, not on behalf of the board, because you represent yourself in this realm, but on behalf of myself, is twofold. One is that we look at the language, that it's not up to 15%, but that it's at least 15% was a request, which would be different than the norm, according to the other folks' legal team. I asked for, let's be different than the norm. Why not be different? Why not challenge what's always been? What's wrong with that? And so what that then landed with was a commitment to work with us around the language. In the midst of that, there was a vote that was taken, and that vote passed 4-1 to go forward with the language as up to 15%. I have had conversations with the one that stood out and said, no, that's not the commitment we've made, and we are going to look to work together to bring new language to them to see if they're willing to revise. I have no reason to believe that's going to work. We're going to keep fighting for that, because I think that's my job, is to keep fighting that, because we want a commitment. And I want to be clear that since getting here, I have heard and experienced the commitment of giving money this way from these TIF moves. So I worry more about the future than the current, meaning that as people change, positions change, the folks that are with us now aren't going to be with us then. 5 years from now, things change. Is there still going to be a commitment to the full 15% or more? Or are new folks that come in going to say, well, we don't have to, so we're not going to? And that's my anxiety. And so that was one of the reasons I pushed very hard at a number of meetings around, no, we wanted to say at least, so that we know it's locked in along the way. I still have reason to believe that they'll support the endeavors that we're looking at. We have a website, we have an app that has been paid for through some of these type of funds. There's more projects coming. So in our current state, my anxiety is not as high. It's just I'm worried about the future around this, because these things last 20 years per debt collection. So this thing could really last just about forever. And so that's some of the backstory as to what we're asking for. Sarah's done a fantastic job of being out there and an advocate to speak on our behalf at all of these meetings. We just hope that we continue to find partnership. Is what we're seeking, is partnership, so that we can say, yes, this is a great project, we'll stand with you and do this, and that they can say, yes, we're going to give you everything that we can, and in fact, we'll give you at least 15% of what would be collected. I understand that collecting the tax dollars helps create the project. I get that. I do understand that, but I've stood by this. None of this will be new language to anyone hearing it, which is that, but I just want that assurance that as people change and positions change, that every new superintendent, right, doesn't have to fight this same fight, right? And I'm not saying I'm going anywhere. I hope not. That's not the plan. But just the same, positions do change over time. And if this thing lasts 20-something years, I would love to see us have that, do something different commitment, not get stuck in what everyone else has done, and say, you know what, we're going to be the community that stands together for both project ideas as well as what is possible to support the schools while those project ideas are taking place. So I've asked them for two things, and I'll be quiet. One is the at least 15%, and then the second is that they are time bound with each of the debts that they take, to be a reasonable time bound, rather than just 20 years every single time. Do you really need it to be where the school gets nothing for 20 years off these properties, any growth of these properties? Or can we have something more reasonable? That I think that will put us in a position that we can also say, yes, this is good, because what is real is what's good for our community is often good for the corporation. But I will always say, and I continue to say, that until we treat our corporation as the asset that it is, we'll always be fighting each other. But it is always true that what is good for the corporation is good for the community. And so we need to find that reasonable middle ground. Just to give clarity to those in the room, what's this conversation looking like, and where are we, and what does the superintendent say about it all?
Yeah, Dustin did a very, very good job of representing the school corporation at the commissioners meeting. I guess my disappointment was the extension of working with us, because when they receive the money, they also have the decision of where that money gets allocated. And so it's not like they're going to give us cash, we deposit it, and decide we're going to save up for a project like they are. What we're doing is they're taking funds that would ordinarily he would have direct control of. And that's where my disappointment lay with the process. And having said that, that's a discussion only item. Does anyone else want to add? Okay, we'll move on to the cafeteria report.
The cafeteria fund balance as of November 30th was $305,729.01. This is compared to $383,462.44 a year ago. The latchkey fund balance as of November 30th, 2024 was $18,036.99. This is compared to $15,080.85 a year ago.
Okay, any discussion? If there's none, we'll move on to the statements from the public and employees. In order to address the board, individuals must sign up prior to the board meeting. Individuals that have signed in are then given 3 minutes to speak. A maximum of 5 individuals may address the board regarding the same issue, and individuals are asked to avoid repetition and are not permitted to use employee names. In public comments, we have one, Miss April Eisen.
Sir?
Good evening. Thank you for letting me address the board this evening. As Mr. Guerin already mentioned, we've got 2 members of the board that will be leaving us, and this will be their last meeting for 2024. And on the behalf of the Laurel District and the Laurel community, we wanted to extend a special thank you to Francis Bumbach for supporting us and representing us. For 16 years on the school board, Francis has been on the board, been committed despite health issues, despite his own wellness oftentimes, and even was willing enough to come back when an open spot came up for the Laurel District to rejoin the board to be able to support our community. And the truth of the matter is Francis has done an outstanding job. As a member of the community, I believe that we have been relaxed in knowing that he has been supporting us. When no other name was on the ballot, we were all very comfortable knowing that he was just going to take care of it and run again. I know that different circumstances are where we are today, and this will likely be his very last board meeting. And so we just wanted to thank him and give him honor for all the hard work over the last 16 years and representing our community well. We've had a great confidence in him and knowing that he was representing us. He's got a great rapport with the school and with the community of Laurel, and we just wanted to say thank you. So thank you,
Thank you.
Francis.
Yeah, we all choked up. Supposed to be. Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you very much, April. Okay. There are no statements from employees, so we'll go to old business up next.
Yes, sir. So coming back for vote is the board policy update from Neola. The board was offered this for information last time we met, and unless there's any other questions, the superintendent recommends the board approves the update as listed.
Well, you don't want to read through all the policies, are you sure?
I would be happy to, but there's a lot of them.
As we discussed at the last meeting, looking at it, it's all technical corrections and revisions that are
Yes.
required by the state.
Yes, sir.
To conform to the new laws.
Right. The only other question I have, just out of curiosity, looking at some of what some other schools have been doing, and this is just, there's no rhyme or reason behind it, just out of curiosity, have we ever looked at other avenues besides Neola? Or what is the cost of Neola? What are we getting?
That's a great question. So I haven't. In fact, from my previous district, we use Neola as well. There is at least one other company I know of that does this type of work. Thus far, I've been very pleased with the customer service side of this. But if the board is interested in hearing another voice, I have no problem with that. I just have always done this because it's always what we've done.
That there's no complaint. Like I said, I don't remember which school, and even if I did, I wouldn't say just because, but there were some questions raised just of redundancy and services. So just a general question, and you probably don't know, and Shannon being new, that's more of a question, Francis, any idea
Yeah,
if
I
it's been
can,
looked
I
at in
can
the
help you
past?
out with that a little bit. Used to, the board would set policies and write out what it was. We had the handbook and you'd make adjustments and addendums thereof based off what, if you remember when you first came on the board, I said we are a policy-making function. That's a large part of it. Neola, Tammy came on and started using Neola, which rewrote our handbook. I'm not a huge fan of Neola because I think it's very generic and I think we need to refine it out some more, be very specific in what we do. But it does keep us within the legal minds of it. And as far as other groups go, there are other groups, but it's all the same batch of ideas of trying to keep us complicit with the law.
Right, and I understand that. And like I said, I don't have a complaint. It was just an article I was reading.
Yeah.
Put the question in my mind.
So just
that's
so
it.
the folks know how it kind of works, is that every, about twice a year, they come out with these updates to say, okay, we looked at this language, here's what's new in the state legislature at the national level, here's some things that we need to take a look at and update. A lot of it is housekeeping, small, little changes, nothing, sometimes it's bigger, and of course, we'd always note that to the board, but every once in a while, there's actually choices that the team would then make and say, we want this versus that. One of the choices that you may have even noticed in there was around some of the interaction between adults and students. I added a word in there on purpose because I wanted to make sure that our kindergarten teachers knew it was okay to hug their students. But the Neola policy says, will not ever, and then listed all the things, right? And I said, what about my kindergarten teachers? They that's the first thing they do, and these babies love that, and that's what they need. And so we added a little bit. So we have a little bit of choice in there to make sure that it makes sense. But if at any point there's a shift to say, hey, can we take a look? Happy to. I'm not no allegiance here other than just what we've always done.
It's just really difficult at the pace the legislature is passing laws with education for us to keep up as
That's
generally.
I fully agree. We need someone or some group. That wasn't my
Yeah.
question at all.
No, I understand your question.
Yeah.
Is
That's good.
that whether they were the best fit for us.
Correct.
And I appreciate the wording for that, because sometimes I think that we become too stringent, too generic, that we cannot show the compassion to our students, so we need to. So thank you.
Okay, discussion. No one wants to discuss any of these? Wow.
I'll make a motion to approve all of the revisions to the board policy.
Second.
Kevin makes the motion, Rick makes the second, all in favor? 7-0. We have new business, none. Other is none. Superintendent's report.
Just want to give the board an update. At our last meeting, Ms. Foster, you had mentioned, hey, can we get a copy of your update? I have not forgot you have a meeting with them.
Right there.
Yep, I have a meeting with them coming up between now and January. Talk twofold. One, I want the data from them. They know this already, around any breakage or stoppage, so I can give you that data. And then also, it's about time for us to look at our contract anyways. And so we're actually having that twofold meeting between now and January. There's a little bit of a delay, and I apologize, but it was scheduling issues. But I'll have an update for you by the time we get to January to let you know what we got.
That will make your teachers very happy.
Well, we got to get it fixed before they can make it happen. Right now, I'm just meeting with them.
Well,
I know.
that will make them
I-
happy that they're even looking.
Yes,
So,
so I've been in schools for 24 years, and for 24 years, the copiers have been a very important tool.
yes.
And so no question about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other things. Just want to take a moment and say thank you to our fall coaches. They devote a lot of time to our students and to growing them as individuals and as people, and of course being good at their sport, which is the third of those things, because that is what our programs do for our coaches and our sponsors as well, for our music groups. And just want to say thank you, and thank you for everybody jumping in tonight with something new and different. Probably was a little scary as they kept piling in more and more people, but we hope that we have such a great turnout in the winter that we have to move sites, right? Wouldn't that be great? But just to say, what a great chance to honor them. And thank you for all the families for taking the time to come out. Just want to give a little bit of a heads up and a thank you ahead of time. you may not know this, but we have a bit of a winter weather team. It's not an official title, but I like to make it an official title, be on the weather team. So we have a group of folks that when weather is not certain as to what we should do, that get up incredibly early and start taking down rows. So I get up at 3:45 to make the run to get here because we got to make the call by 5. I know Shannon gets up, you probably get up, you already go to bed, at 1 a.m. to make her run. Brittany McCoy's on the road all the time, as well as Raquel Young, and we have we even have people with spouses jumping in that take a run as well. There's a team of folks that say, okay, let's get an early run and let's take a look at what this is as far as the road conditions. I'm never opposed to canceling school. That's not where I stand. I have no issue with it at all, but we don't want to burn our days. Right? We know that we get a couple days, then we start using up some of our makeup days, and then we have our makeup days, then we have our e-learning days, and then before you know it, we got to go further into the summer because of our current state law around have to have 180. So we're not looking to burn those up. I'm not afraid to call it, but it will always be for safety reasons, not for comfort reasons. So the other morning was really cold, and so I got here, and it was very cold, very much so. And I went out to BES to help them with arrival because if my people are going to be cold, so am I. So I went out there and helped them with the whole arrival process. And it was cold, but it was not comfortable. It wasn't a dangerous situation for any of our folks. So we're always looking at it that way. I don't want anyone to freak out. I am from Cincinnati, so I can tell you that CPS closes all the time. It happens all the time. And just because they close doesn't mean everyone else should. In Ohio, they count hours, not days, towards your requirement. And every day they go a little bit extra than they have to. And so it always adds up to plenty of days to call those early ones. And they also have a different population that does a lot of walking. We have walkers. I'm not questioning that, but it's a majority, a large portion of their constituents. So just want to say a thank you to our weather team, all the members of that, and just so you kind of know how it works, like the inside track, how does this function? I'm not just guessing, and I'm not just like walking outside giving one of them numbers. There's a whole process that we try to follow to make a good decision. A couple other just thank yous. I just want to send out another thank you to Francis and Rick for your time on the board. It's been wonderful to work with you, and I hope this is not the end of that journey. I know it won't be because you've told me 10 times that it won't be the last time we talk, and I'm thankful for that, Rick, you as well. Please do not be a stranger. Please, we need your support. And sir, that is all I have for today.
And in response to that, I wanted to thank each and every one of the board members here and also the board members I have served with. A lot of people don't understand how much of a responsibility it is and how critical it is for us to have people who understand the school board role for the kids. I think so many times we forget that it's about the children. I mean, parents want something and each parent wants that to be for them. But we have to make a decision what's best for all kids. And it gets very tough sometimes. It gets very adversarial. And I have respect for everyone on this board for the service that they've done. I'd like to thank Dustin for making it easy to work with him. Of course, he didn't have much choice because I called him every day. And I'd like to thank Shannon for stepping up. They miss you at Laurel, I know that. And Kendra, I've still promised to replace her with an orangutan, but I don't think we can. So thank everyone here.
Rick, anything from you?
I'd just like to thank everybody. Also, I've served with a lot of school board members over the 12 years and have enjoyed it and just kind of hate to go, but there's things on further for me. So I just want to thank just everybody.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, following up with that, we have legislative updates. Do you have anything for us, Kevin?
Nothing other than myself, Ms. Foster, and Ms. Holman attended the regional meeting, which we did hear about some upcoming legislature that they are looking at and will be following. I plan on attending the school law seminar Wednesday, which should lead to more specific and getting closer to the actual legislature meeting or starting in January.
there any recognitions or acknowledgements?
Wait a minute, you missed one.
Future agenda requests.
Okay, future agenda requests.
Can you,
You better have had one.
can you tell me, for a long, long time, and I was asked this and I couldn't answer it. For a long, long time, we put kids in the paper that did really well on their grades. And I know that's a, privacy thing, maybe it was for a while. You couldn't put the name in with their grade point average or something.
A list of honor rolls.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we haven't done that for a while. I just would like to know what the law of it is. I mean, I looked it up, I couldn't find anything that satisfied me. And then secondly, I see other schools do it. Oldenburg does it, St. Michael's does it, whether that's a parochial school that's, has a different law than we do, but I don't think so. I don't think Oldenburg would. But, and I remember that they got all excited about the so-and-so had a 3.8 and something about privacy or something. I would like to know what and how and where we are on that, and
I will dig a little deeper. I don't have,
Okay.
I have some guesses as to why things may have shifted, but I'll get you a real answer.
okay, because I really don't, I said, I don't know. I have no idea.
Do we give out honor ribbons for the classes for the student who excels?
So there's no per class ribbon. There are honor celebrations at the end of every year where we say, here are the kids that made honor roll, here are the kids that, you know, those type of things, that happens. This particular question is a very reasonable question, because you're exactly right. There was a time, my name wasn't in that paper, but there were certainly, oh, no, I'm teasing, I did okay. But let me find out. I mean, you start thinking about FERPA, you start thinking about those things, but I don't know if that's the barrier or it just kind of went to the wayside. I don't know, I'll find out.
And then we probably would have to have permission from the parent or the child to put the name in.
So
I see, I don't know, that's included in all that
So
too.
as part of the registration process, there are some buttons that get clicked in there around the ability to use names in media.
Right, right.
So I don't know what took place to change it and where we are now, but I can find out.
Okay, thank you.
Any recognitions or acknowledgements?
Not today, sir.
Okay, we're to adjournment. Thank you, everyone. Our next regular school board, your next regular school board meeting is at 7 p.m. Monday, January 13th. Thank you, everyone, for attending.